Hi everyone, it's Refresh, and I'm here to look at Fantasy Flight Supplies clear sleeves for mini European board game size cards. That is cards that are 44 by 68 millimeters, and the back of the package says that these sleeves are for games like Wings of War, Ticket to Ride, Pirates Cove, Thurn and Taxis, El Grande, and many others. These sleeves come at an MSRP of $2.49, and for that you will get 50 sleeves, and that is an average of about 5 cents per sleeve. The price is somewhere on the upper end of costs for sleeves of this size, so these are hopefully a more premium product as well. Let's take a look at what's inside. As you can see, the sleeves are glossy and smooth on both sides. Now let's see if there are 50 of them. Alright, that's 50 sleeves, no more, no less. Now let's see what the thickness is. 50 sleeves is 1 centimeter thick. That is 200 microns thick per sleeve, or 100 microns each face of the sleeve. Now to test the dimensions, these sleeves are 46 millimeters wide by 72 millimeters tall. Alright, let's see how a card fits. What I have here is a Ticket to Ride card, and I'm going to put it in one of these sleeves. A pretty good fit. As you can see, there's only a tiny bit of extra space around the sides. It is a snug fit, but without being tight. There is a bit more space at the top edge of the sleeve. The distance between the opening and the top edge of the card is noticeable. Now this is going to be a concern for some of you because it makes it so that the otherwise perfectly fitting sleeve is visible at the top, and the aesthetics of that won't appeal to some of you. Others will appreciate the fact that there is extra space between the opening of the sleeve and the top edge of the card. And these sleeves in particular don't leave a lot of open space at the top, and so I feel like these will have an even higher degree of protection than perhaps some other sleeves, which may remain a bit more open at the top edge. Now let's do the sleeving test. I'm going to sleeve these 45 Ticket to Ride cards in 45 of these 50 sleeves, and we'll see how long it takes. Ready, set, go. Okay, it took 2 minutes and 51 seconds to sleeve these 45 cards, and that is the slow speed of 3.8 seconds per card sleeved. I think it took a while to sleeve these cards because of the tightness of the sleeve on the side, combined with the fact that the height of the sleeve is so much. Consequently, you not only have to put the card in well, you also have to push it in for longer, and that adds to the time of the sleeving process. There was also a bit of resistance as I was pushing the card into the sleeve. That's not to say that it's because the sleeve was too tight, but just because there was some sort of catch in the sleeve material for the cards. Now that does mean that it is very unlikely for these cards to come out of the sleeve, and so that is a plus, but it does extend the time that you need to sleeve the cards. Now that we've sleeved all the cards, let's take a look at the uniformity and the consistency of the sleeves. The first thing I can tell you right now is that the sleeves are incredibly consistent and uniform outside of the pack. They are all of the exact same height and the exact same width. The sleeves are all incredibly clean and polished outside of the pack. There is no warping, no bending, no dents or anything like that. So the sleeves look great and they actually feel great. Now it's time for the shuffle test. I'm going to shuffle these sleeved cards 100 times and see how long that it takes. Ready, set, go. Alright, it took 1 minute and 44 seconds to shuffle these cards 100 times, and that is a respectable speed of 1.04 seconds per shuffle. It's a pretty good shuffle. Honestly, these are some of the better feeling Fantasy Flight sleeves in terms of shuffling overall. There was very little resistance or bounce when I was putting the sleeves into each other, and even though the sleeves are a bit on the longer side, they never felt really spongy, so I always felt like I would be able to retain my grip when I was putting them into each other. Now, I did drop them once, but that was a result of clumsiness on my part, and probably an overzealousness to shuffle. But as you can see, the sleeves slide in quite well with each other, and there's no resistance whatsoever. And now let's take a look at the sleeves to see how well they endured handling and see if there is any wear. Ready? Well, there doesn't appear to be any denting, warping, surface wear, bending of corners, or anything like that. And so these sleeves have endured the cost of handling quite well and remain as good looking as they were when I first pulled them out of the pack. And so I feel like these sleeves are very high quality, and I think they're going to last you quite a while. Next up, I'm going to be doing the shake test. I have stacked these sleeves into a deck, and I will be shaking the table it's on for about 2 seconds, and we'll see if the deck holds up. Now, before I even do so, you can see that there's a very noticeable accordion effect with these sleeves, and I'm not sure if that's going to affect their stability, but we're going to give it a shot. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, the accordion effect does seem to have compromised the deck's stability with these sleeves. I think perhaps if you wear them down enough and you keep the cards in the sleeves long enough, maybe this effect will decrease. But as for now, it is a fail, and I don't know if I can suggest these sleeves for those of you who want to sleeve games where you need the cards to stand up straight in the deck. Next is a draw test. I'm going to draw 3 cards off the top of this deck, and we will see how well the deck holds together. Ready? The deck quivers a bit as you take cards from it, but it doesn't seem to fall, so it does seem like it's going to hold together fine as you are drawing cards off the top. That's a pass. Fantasy Flight's clear sleeves for mini European sized cards are very high quality. Outside of the pack, as usual for this brand, the sleeves are crisp, uniform, free from any blemishes, and actually managed to remain so in the aftermath of heavy handling, like 100 shuffles. In addition, the shuffling process was actually quite smooth for these sleeves, and so that was also quite nice. The sleeving process is a little bit on the slower side, but that's not uncommon for Fantasy Flight sleeves, especially given the height of the sleeve. What is perhaps the only truly concerning element of these sleeves is that the sleeves manage to take in a lot of air, and consequently they have the accordion effect that makes them quite unstable when put into a deck. And again, this may diminish over time, but I do not know how much time or usage it would require for the sleeves to mellow out and become flatter. As a result, I think it is not easy to recommend these sleeves, especially if you are playing games where you need to stack all the cards into a deck. That is something that you might be concerned about, and is an understandable reason for passing on these sleeves. These sleeves have a bit of distance between the opening of the sleeve and the top edge of the card. Consequently, that means that the sleeves are quite noticeable with each card because all this plastic up here is visible, but there is no same amount of plastic that is visible around the edge. Some of you may not like that aesthetic concern. Others of you will appreciate how much additional protection that it provides by giving you more distance from that opening to the top edge of the card, which means that it would take more time or effort for something to breach the opening and then hit that top edge of the card. And finally, these sleeves are a bit more on the expensive side at 5 cents per sleeve, and so you are getting a premium product, but it is a premium product with one considerable defect, which is this accordion effect. As a result, I don't know if I can recommend these sleeves. There is a good place for them, particularly in games where you don't need to stack the cards into a deck, but you are just handing them out to people. But as it is, those of you who are playing games like Ticket to Ride, where you're going to have a huge mountain of these cards in a deck, you can see how this will be very concerning because decks are going to be liable to fall down. If this video is helpful to you, hit the like button for me. If you would like to see more such videos, go ahead and hit subscribe. I have surveys in the description box below, so if you have any experience with these sleeves and other mini European sleeves, you can click on those surveys and share your experience with their consistency out of the package from pack to pack, as well as their long-term durability. Thanks for watching. This was Refresh, and I will see you next time.